from Tierp in Sweden, the sixth and final round of the 2019 RX Academy season. With close racing at every single event so far this year, in Sweden, Denmark, Latvia and Finland, RX Academy returns to Sweden for the season finale. Two drivers will battle to become the 2019 champion, while each of the competitors will fight for top results to end the year on a high at this unique venue. Last time out at Kuvula, the pressure was on for Tommi Hallman. Tuominen had won both Niisum and Riga. Hallman, though, was on great form. He won 3 of the qualifying sessions to take the TQ spot and then got the whole shot in the final with Tuominen close behind. Heikkinen ran out wide and dropped down through the field through the first couple of corners, while the championship contenders battled out front. Hallman pushing hard. Joker laps played out. Pepe Arcade joined us this weekend. Fantastic performance by the young Spaniard on his debut in RX Academy. Meanwhile, out front, the two leaders still nose to tail, and it was Tuominen who jokered first on the second to last lap, dipping off to the right-hand side through the undulating joker lap in Finland. He managed to come out in front of Ollikainen. A little pressure from behind, needed to hold on and hope he could do a faster lap time, pull out in front of Tommi Hallman come the merge. Hallman, though, was tidy in the joker lap and would go on to take the win in Finland and close down the lead at the front from Tuominen. Behind it was Ollikainen who took third, but this fantastic pass by Heikkinen saw him nick fourth at the finish. Here are the championship standings after round 5. Rasmus Tuominen leads by just 5 points from Tommi Hallman, with Markku Muru in third. We arrive at Tierp in Sweden with all to play for.
Of course I'm feeling good. The track seems really interesting, a lot of gravel, and I already got a good feeling from Kouvola, so I'm really looking forward to this race. Of course the championship situation is really difficult now for me, but I will keep trying.
The championship battle has raged all season long. Tuominen took a penalty in round 1 where Hallman won. Tuominen's results have been more consistent. Hallman, though, comes here as the foreman, having won the previous round at Kuvula.
I don't want to get stressed about the championship lead. I want to focus my own thing, like doing the races like I have done before. Of course there's a big award after the race for the winner, but I don't want to, get the berry before I can reach it.
I have to say I need luck this time to win the championship, because if I win and Rasmus is second, it's not gonna be enough, so I need some luck that some other driver will cut between us. Of course I need to do a perfect result myself, but I'm feeling good and I think I can do it.
My strategy to this Tierp's weekend is going to be just play a few mind games, but don't want to talk about them now because they are mind games. So yeah.
Luca Nurmi is the youngest competitor in this year's RX Academy. He reflects on his season and looks forward to the final weekend here in Tierp.
My highlight was Vikernieki. They were really good racing in last laps with Tommi, and I finished third, and I was so happy for that. My first podium, and maybe that Kouvola wasn't so good because I missed all the practices and result wasn't so good, and I was unhappy after that. My hope is to get third position of championship and do my best and get the podium.
Flora Anderson joins the RX Academy field for the final round of the season. She comes with previous rallycross experience, but in very different machinery, and has realistic goals for her debut.
It's very, very difficult for me, as I've always only driven railway-driven cars before, and now switching to front wheel. It's the complete opposite driving style, so you really have to think before you enter a corner. For example, with the left foot braking. So it's really difficult, but I think the car is really good to learn and to adapt. It feels better and better. I don't have any certain goals, like I should make the podium, because I'm new here and I just want to enjoy the car, enjoy the weekend, and just get faster and faster and learn the car.
Tierp in Sweden debuted in RX Academy last year. It's 1,394 metres long, with a unique straight in and out of the first corner. Off the start, it's a long run down towards turn 1. On board with Tuominen. on the brakes and down through the gears. It's an open hairpin with concrete walls on the inside and the outside you need to take care. He then runs the car wide, using the full width of the track over to the right hand side, and now we dart off to the left through a very narrow gap onto the loose over the jump. Lands the car, again left and right over a crest, and you can see the impact there. Tuominen sideways as he crosses the crest, get the wheel straight back onto tar and around to the left-hander, uses a little of the curb on the left. Now a long sweeping right off the gravel, back onto the tar, bit of understeer on the entry there, has to be patient on the throttle, back onto the loose. Now the standard lap goes left, we take the Joker lap to the right. Both laps feature a chicane, but the chicane in the Joker, as you can see, is really, really tight. Tried to find some traction onto the loose again, and now we sweep around to the left and then to the right, onto the start-finish straight. Try and carry as much speed as you can to complete a lap at Tierp. My name's Andrew Coley, joining me on commentary this weekend, as always, Hal Ridge. We're going to take a look back at qualifying on board with Rasmus Tuominen at the start. We're now on board with Hallman as we run down towards the first corner, and Hal, it was pretty exciting qualifying, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Look at the braking here into the first corner. It's super fast here at Tierp into this 180-degree corner, round the drag strip, and then firing up here towards the loose section. Hallman leading the first race, already looking in his mirrors at Tuominen behind. And now we're about to see a critical moment in the championship battle.
So Tuominen here got it all wrong on the entry to the gravel section. Just took the car in a little bit too tight. You can see Hallman sees the red flag, looks in his mirrors and realises that his championship competitor is in serious trouble. The Renault Clio RS-RX returned to the paddock for set promotion to do their fantastic work and get it re-prepared in time for Q2.
In second lap, after the jump, there was after the curb there was a big bump, and when I turned to the next corner, it just there was nothing to do. When we watched the data, it was just bad luck. My nose collided with a barrier a bit, and the mechanics are doing an amazing job to get the car back to Q2. And now just focusing on to the next one, and don't even think about what happened in Q1. So start from zero now.
Tuominen then with some work to do. This was the start in Q2. Tuominen alongside Nurmi. You ride on board with Nurmi into the first corner, and everything at this point is clean and sensible. Tuominen slotting into P2 behind Nurmi. But Hal, at the end of the first lap, we're on board with Tuominen now, and he does this.
Desperate to make up ground, isn't he? And he's just caught himself slightly on the brakes and pushed Nurmi wide, given a 5-second penalty for that move for unfair driving. Tuominen with a lot of work to do on Sunday.
On to Sunday morning, and the weather conditions have changed, Hal, and this changes everything off the start.
It does. Nurmi's made a great start there. The first race of Q3, the fastest first, remember, in Rallycross Nordic and RX Academy that the series supports, and it's so difficult in these conditions, isn't it? Finding traction with these powerful front-wheel drive cars.
Hallman able to take a more relaxed approach to Sunday, knowing that he was at the top of the table after Saturday's action, but a bit too relaxed. They'd allowed Joni Heikkinen to get out front, and he took the win. Second race, of course, featuring championship leader Rasmus Tuominen, massively on the back foot, but absolutely getting the job done off the start.
Yeah, great start from him there, and from Clementine Lost on the outside, but Flora Anderson's about to make a mistake on that braking area is so difficult, isn't it? And she's just locked up and got into the wall on the outside. Tuominen, meanwhile, on an absolute mission to fastest time.
Final session of qualifying, and we see Tuominen and Hallman getting the best start off the line together. Hallman looking to squeeze across and shut the door, but Tuominen going very late on the brakes, managing to hold on to the position, and Hallman actually dropping back.
Horrible position to be in, isn't it? Not wanting to damage your hopes of the championship while staying out of trouble, and he's on an absolute mission there to try and catch up for lost ground after Heikkinen sunk it up the inside of him into the first corner. Now Heikkinen's trying to go around the outside of Nurmi here, and Nurmi's going to do the same, lock up and absolutely nail Heikkinen into the wall.
Such slippery conditions, a really, really long, fast approach, and you can see there, just too late on the brakes, probably by both of them. To the final race of qualifying, Ole Kainen with a good start on the inside, and late enough on the brakes to hold on to that position. Pepe Arcade looking for P2, a little bit of contact into the hairpin.
Unbelievably slippery through that corner, isn't it? And the whole track is just so greasy. It's dried a bit compared to Q3 earlier on during the day. Arcade's just locked up there. That's through the exit of the final corner and hit the wall. That wouldn't have done the tracking any favours at all on that.
Tommi Hallman then takes the top qualifier spot for the last round and 1 point in that crucial championship fight with Rasmus Tuominen, who did brilliantly to recover to P2, having won both Q3 and Q4. Heikkinen and Ollikainen will be on the front row, and we've got Nurmi, Arke, Lost and Anderson completing our 8 drivers through to the semi-finals.
In Q4 we had big crash with Joni, and I think it was a little bit more my mistake. We were coming side by side from last corner to first corner, and yeah, we were fighting from latest braking point as possible to first corner, and yeah, I locked my tires and came to Joni's bumper, and we were both in a wall after that, and yeah, I got really big damage to my car, but hopefully my mechanic will get it fixed.
I haven't seen it on video, but didn't feel like it was my fault, but don't know. Otherwise, pretty good spaces. I had best lap times on both qualification round, and pace is good. Now just need good results.
This morning it was a new challenge for us. The rain arrived, so in that kind of really difficult track, I was not really ill at ease in warm-up, but I did a really good qualification 3, no mistakes, and qualification 4, I think the speed is there. Of course the other did the mistakes also, but I did my best result in that qualification 4, so really happy about it. A lot of hopes for this semi-final.
My race day has been very up and down, you can say. The free practice felt good, and also the last qualifying round, but in Q3 I had a bit of a crash where I locked the wheels, so it's very new conditions also affects my driving style, so it feels better and better.
Yesterday was dry, the track was dry. Today the track is a bit wet and how do you say that, slippery, and it's for me it's hardest because I don't have the confidence other drivers has with the car, but yeah, I'm getting confident with the slippery conditions, and now we'll see in the semi-final.
I'm starting second on semi-final 2 next to Rasmus, and my goal is to try to challenge Rasmus. If I can overtake him, I try to overtake him, but main goal is to get a good starting position for final.
The day has been brilliant so far. Just gotten first places now from Q3 and Q4, and the day has been a lot of better than yesterday. Of course, for points, I mean, I have to win the semi-final because it will be so big of an advantage to be in the front row of the grid for the final.
Really difficult day. Difficult Q3 was behind the traffic, and then a misfire in the engine in Q4. So really tricky day, but I'm still the top qualifier, so pole for the semi-1.
Here is the lineup then for semi-final number 1. Tommi Hallman with the TQ spot needs to convert that to a win if he wants to continue to chase Tuominen to the title. Heikkinen alongside, and then it's Nurmi and Clementine Lost. Slightly drier track than we saw in the morning for qualifying. Hallman needs to hook it up. He's looking at the lights, full concentration mode, releases the handbrake and away. And Hallman has got a great start here, going to be able to defend all the way down to turn 1. Heikkinen slots in behind Nurmi into P3. Where's Clementine Lost? Is she going to come around the outside? So Lost has gone wide. Going to try and get the cut back, but there's 3 on the inside. Make no mistake on the brakes this time. You ride on board with Clementine Lost as she looks across to the right and slots into 4th. How that was clever by Clementine, but unfortunately it didn't pay off this time.
Yeah, going the long way round is very difficult there, isn't it? And you need to be so careful not to get forced into the wall on the outside. It's so fast up here, isn't it? As we're chasing Tommi Hallman on board with Heikkinen. Look at the rear of the car skipping around and heavy braking into this left-hander.
Definitely much drier than this morning. On board with Hallman as he comes up over the crest through that long right-hander. He's just got to relax, hasn't he? Basically, there's nothing he can do about Tuominen's results. Just got to make sure he wins this semi-final.
It's all about just keeping a clear head, isn't it? And keeping his eyes down He's done a fantastic job in Kouvola last time out and here so far to do everything he can to try and take this championship right to the final race.
That chicane onto the start-finish straight is so committed. If you want the exit speed, you've really got to commit to it. You could see the cars moving around, and this whole section of circuit with just no runoff, the risk is quite high. So this is not an easy job.
It's not like that chicane over the finish line is new for this year. Look at that big bump. That's where last year's champion Sami Matti-Trogan rolled in the final race of the season. And it's the rear of the car's so loose, isn't it? And with these front-wheel drive cars, when you get the traction and the front digs in, the car's moving around all the time.
On board with Heikkinen, you could see a little bit of opposite lock from him too. That new section of tarmac through the long right-hander. We come up towards the Joker lap split, and both the top two continue to go on the standard lap. Bit of curb on either side, and then the run onto the straight. Here it is again through the committed chicane, and I guess how they're tuning these cars for as much steering as they possibly can, and that contributes a little bit to the rear of the car being slightly loose.
It does, yeah, and they'll be balancing that with a left foot brake as well to keep the rear in check. 155 kilometres an hour they're doing at the end of that straight in 6th gear before they hit the brakes, and with these changing conditions as they have done today, it makes it so challenging to find the right braking point every time.
Absolutely preferred conditions now compared to this morning when it was wet. You just get that slightly wrong touch the brake and you're a passenger with zero runoff. Bank on the inside there, you're definitely not going to be cutting that chicane.
I think really what you want in rallycross is consistency, isn't it? You either want super heavy rain or dry. The track evolution you get when the track is drying or becomes more wet as Heikkinen goes into the Joker. This is super tight in here, isn't it? Losing 6.5 seconds there or thereabouts in the dry conditions to go through the Joker, and you really struggle to get the power down on the loose on the exit.
And you can see, and he's in the wall! Luca Nurmi puts it in the wall just as I was about to say how committed you've got to be. Clementine lost a Joker, Heikkinen had been in, Luca Nurmi had come back onto the standard lap and was coming through this section. And Clementine Lost dropped it as well, so Clementine Lost has dropped it but somehow stays out of the wall. She will know that if she can get to the finish of this semi-final, assuming they don't red flag it, that she'll make it through to the final. So Luca Nurmi with a big mistake as we rode on board with him, trying to restart the car, but how that damage looks heavy to me.
Big impact, wasn't it? Like you were saying, it's super fast food there. I'm not a big fan of those tyre stacks being in front of those big concrete blocks like that, but he's clearly okay. The car otherwise isn't.
Hallman goes into the Joker lap. He's got one more to complete after this, so chosen to go safety and just go Joker one lap before the end of the race, Hal.
Yeah, Jussi Pinamäki, pole position spotter for the weekend here in Tierp, and Heikkinen's run very deep into the same chicane that Nurmi had. A big spin there for Heikkinen.
So that's 3 out of these 4 drivers who've made a mistake in that chicane. Just goes to show exactly what we said about tricky conditions and the walls being close. Heikkinen and Clementine Lost both really lucky to get away with not being in the wall. Unfortunately, Luca Nurmi not so lucky. Tommy Hallman, though, has kept it steady, and now he'll keep a lid on it. There'll be no risk for him through that last chicane. He's going to go through to pole in the final, and he's going to be able to battle for the win in the championship. Clementine Lost through the chicane. Look at the debris in the road. There's Heikkinen parked at the side of the road. I wonder if Heikkinen's not going to get going.
No, Clementine just put in. He is going now, isn't he? He's finally managed to get the car restarted, but Clem's managed to pick her way through the pieces, and she's going to finish second in this race. That's a great result for her, and put her on the second row of the grid for the final.
A little bit hot into the hairpin from Heikkinen. Will be distracted by that incident. He's just had a big spin and got away with it. Look at Hallman. Cruises super slowly through the last corner, avoids the carnage, avoids the debris in the road, takes the win in semi-final 1 to keep his championship hopes alive. You ride on board with Clementine Lost. She's much further back on the lap, but she's going to come through to take P2. Great job by her. Heikkinen chasing her down, though. They've both jokered, so Heikkinen shouldn't be able to get past unless Clementine Lost makes a mistake. On board with Heikkinen now, he's hunting, but he's only got a couple of 100 metres to go through the chicane. He's going to sweep around to the left-hand side onto the start-finish straight, and it is indeed Clementine Lost who takes P2 in semi-final 1, and Heikkinen gets third. Confirmation of the result then. Tommy Hallman wins semi-final 1. Maximum points available for him so far this weekend. Can he take the championship? Clementine Lost holds on for P2. Heikkinen third. Both those two suffering those big spins. And Luca Nurmi with a DNF. Even though Tierp is the final round of the 2019 RX Academy, the training for the young drivers does not stop. Renowned mental coach Christoph Trier, who's looked after the likes of Marcus Gronholm and Jari-Matti Latvala in the past, is here to offer these young drivers tips on how they can improve their performance at every step of their career.
Almost every time you fail, you will learn something. I usually think that now I am one favor stronger to next race when I fail. And usually I don't repeat mistakes so easily. When I do a mistake in next days, I maybe don't make it again.
You said almost every time you learn something. I hope always you learn something from it. Otherwise you miss something.
My biggest view was from how to recover from disappointment or how to relax. So I was focused on that more. And I think you have to do something that you like, not to go with the flow or with the group. You have to have something you like means music.
But you have to focus on recovery and relaxation.
Usually people think that stress is straight away a bad thing, but for me, for example, maybe not. In Kouvola I had massive stress for I don't know why, for some reason, and it was the best race of the season. But for example in Denmark I didn't have stress and I wasn't on the limit. I was a bit safe all the time, but when you have the stress, it's easier to be on the limit and don't worry about too much.
When you're completely calm, then you're sleeping. When you're sleeping, then you're completely calm. The stress is zero when you're sleeping. And the other opposite, stress is 100%, then you're paralyzed panic. So you cannot thinking anymore, you cannot move anymore, you're paralyzed, you're really in panic. Then the performance is zero also. So zero stress, zero performance, 100% stress, zero performance, but they're in the middle, and then you have a massive stress, but it's not too stress. It's between sleep and panic, then you are, and there you were in Kouvola.
Time for semi-final 2, then the last semi-final of the season. Rasmus Tuominen on pole. Desperately needs to win this semi-final to make the job a little bit easier in the final against his championship rival. Jonna Ollikainen is next to him on row 1. Then it's Pepe Arce and Flora Anderson on row 2. Tuominen, the pressure is on to get a perfect start. Ollikainen won't give him any space down at turn 1 if they're alongside each other, and Ollikainen looks to have got an equal getaway at the very least. Pepe Arce drops down, Ollikainen's dropped back. In fact, Tuominen now goes super defensive. Arce's going to go for the wide tight. Late on the brakes, perfectly dry in that braking zone now, on board with Anderson. She holds on to third place. Where's Pepe Arce? Alongside Pepe Arce, managed to get past Anderson. Got the inside line for the next left-hander as we see Tuominen go through that committed chicane that he hit on day 1. And how Tuominen's got the first part of the job done.
There is absolutely no room for two cars to go side by side through there, so Flora had no option but to get out of the throttle. Rasmus, though, you can see the clean panels on the front of this car of delivery is a legacy of the damage he sustained yesterday. He's out in front and he is doing absolutely what he needs right now. Ooh, big mistake. He's lost a bit of time there, hasn't he? The car oversteered as he exited the corner.
Ollikainen all over the back of Tuominen now. Into the joker lap goes Anderson, so Anderson has lost out on the first lap, and that's probably the right tactics. First time in RX Academy. Pepe Arce, of course, on his second outing. More time you get in these cars, the more familiar they become. And, of course, the championship frontrunners have been there every round. It's quite hard for these guys to come and compete with the likes of Tuominen.
It is, yeah, and the tracks are so different, aren't they? This does suit a rally driver more, I think, with the quite loose gravel, but it's such a different circuit to Kouvola, isn't it? And learning new tracks like that every single time in these cars is a challenge for sure.
Tuominen continues to lead. He's tidy through that right-hander. Less of the rear stepping out. Knows who makes it through to the final. He can fight for the title. How good is it that it's gone right down to the last race of the year? Not just the last round, but the last encounter on track, assuming he wins this semi.
Third season in a row that RX Academy's gone to the final round. They are so competitive, these cars. Pepe's gone joker. It's so slow through there, isn't it? You've got to get on the handbrake to get it rotated into that left-hander. And he's comfortably out in front of Clara. Yeah, he is comfortably out in front of Clara.
So Pepe Arce will hold on to third place. Him and Anderson have both jokered. It's down to Tuominen and Ollikainen out front. They head down towards the far end of the drag strip here, which is in the centre of the rallycross track. Tuominen up and over the jump and seems to have edged out just a little bit of a lead over Ollikainen now. On board with Ollikainen. This is a committed track, Hal, in a number of places. High-speed commitment through narrow obstacles. I like it.
Yeah, it's super high speed, isn't it? And then through that section there, you're seeing Jonna apply opposite lock while still being buried on the throttle, trying to get the car as close to the barrier on the inside as he can. It's threading the needle, and it's a super good job they're all doing here. Jonna Ollikainen's going joker. I think he's going to come out comfortably in second.
So Ollikainen versus Pepe Arce. He'll be looking towards the left-hand side now, and the track is all clear. You can see how back Arce actually coming under fire from Anderson. So Anderson from a rallycross family as well, Hal.
Yes, younger sister of Magda Anderson, who's raced in European Championship supercars. She's actually been driving a rear-wheel drive BMW in Swedish national events, a former karter, and she's really getting to grips with this clear RSRX world here. Look at the rear wheel of it's such a tight corner, isn't it? The rear inside wheel picking up. She's lost a little ground there. It's a hard place to pass this.
Good to see her super committed through there, though. That, of course, is where she dropped it on the brakes in the damp conditions, and you can see proper rallycross driver. She's not afraid. She's just gone back in there and got stuck in, and she's getting stuck in now. She's right up behind Pepe Arce again. So Anderson fighting for a spot in the first final. Could she make it through on her debut in the RX Academy? Or is Pepe Arce going to hold on? Tuominen's jokered and has come out in front. So Tuominen has taken his joke. You can see from the graphics at the top of the screen that he is out in front of Ollikainen while this battle is happening at the back of the field. Tuominen, Hal, if he wins this, what's he got to do in the final?
He just needs to finish second to Hallman. If he finishes this in the lead to get, I think it would be 1 point difference at the end of the year. It'd be super, super close. Hallman just needs to, all Hallman can do is win. If Tuominen's second, he's got it in the bag.
So Hallman has got to commit to it. Tuominen can play it slightly safer. He's going to be on the outside, though, on the grid. He could get mugged on the run down to turn one. Pepe Arce coming through that committed chicane up towards the jump. Anderson is right there, desperate for him to make a mistake.
And this is just proving how critical grid position is in rallycross, isn't it? Because had Clara had the inside into the first corner, we saw her try and go round the outside of Arce. There was no room, and she's stuck up behind him. Had she had the inside, could be a very different story.
Yeah, she looks like she's got absolutely fantastic pace, having made the switch over to front-wheel drive. So let's hope we see some more of her next season. Tuominen, though, takes the win in Semi-2 to set up a championship showdown in the last final of the year. Ollikainen gets P2. Arce is going to hold on. Just one chicane to go, and Anderson has a moment in there. She's committed just about well. She spins, but she avoids the walls, and it's Arce who goes through in third. Anderson clicking the car down the gears. She won't make it through this time. So it is Tuominen who wins from Ollikainen and Pepe Arce qualifying through to the final. Anderson with that mistake on the final lap, but a great debut in RX Academy.
I have come here to win the title, so now it's all about who comes first to the line, me or Tommi.
The semi-final was really good, actually. I felt very quick. Unfortunately, I didn't find the space to overtake, but I think I had the pace to make the final.
Here we go then, time for the last final of 2019, and this one will crown our RX Academy champion. Will it be Tommi Hallman on the pole or Rasmus Tuominen on P2 alongside him? This will be an incredible fight. It's Ollikainen and Lost on row 2 and Heikkinen and Arce on row 3. All to play for in just 5 crucial laps. Who's going to get the best start? Heikkinen's jumped it. So Heikkinen jumps the start. You see Hallman goes off the line as well, but I'm pretty sure Hallman was in response to Heikkinen going. And it is indeed Heikkinen who gets the penalty joker sign. So he will have to do 2 joker laps in this final. Reset for the second start. Tuominen versus Hallman on the front row for the title. That is an incredibly long time for these championship protagonists to wait. Hallman looks across. He knows he's got a better start than Tuominen already. That's the perfect start. Bit of contact. Tuominen moves across the inside. Blocks Ollikainen. Ollikainen dives out wide. Arce's gone super wide. Ollikainen protecting the rear of Tuominen. You're on board through the right-hander with Heikkinen, I think, but it's Hallman who leads on the exit. Tuominen in P2, so P1 and P2 for the championship protagonists. Heikkinen drops back as he goes into the merge through the narrow section. No room for 2 cars through there, and how this is what we wanted to see.
The pressure mounts even more, doesn't it, when there's a jump start? Of course, it's disappointing for Joni, but for the guys on the front, the pressure just increased even more. A fantastic start from Hallman. He just has to get his head down and hope that someone behind is going to beat Rasmus, otherwise the title's going to go to the second place man.
So super close between them, even riding on board. We can see up front just how tight it is between Hallman and Tuominen. Looking at it now, Ollikainen is the biggest threat here to Tuominen. For me, Tuominen's spotters need to be looking back at Ollikainen. Yeah, there's no need to risk passing Hallman. They might as well follow him. What they cannot risk is Ollikainen's crew outgunning them in terms of strategy.
And Ollikainen is absolutely going with the pair of them here, isn't he? He has improved significantly this season. I think it's fair to say that the fastest 2 drivers that have done the whole year are the 2 out front, but Ollikainen is really on a push.
Tuominen slightly tidier through the left and the right than Hallman was in front. Hallman with a lead of just a few car lengths, keeping it tidy through the left and the right. Up and across this section, which was tarmacked in between last year and this year's visits to Tierp. Is anybody going to joker on this lap? Hallman takes a quick glance in the mirrors to see if his contender is going to go the other way. Which way is his rival going to go? And into the joker lap goes Heikkinen. So Heikkinen's decided to go joker on lap 2. Tuominen looks dropped back from Hallman.
He'll be being careful when he's got nothing to lose by losing a bit of time to Hallman. As long as he can cover off Ollikainen and the top 3 are gapping the rest of the field here, he can let Tommi go. Tommi is on an absolute mission to do everything he can, but that's not going to be enough if Rasmus can hold on to second.
Hallman, for me, in some ways taking too many risks as he comes super crossed up over the crest. Tuominen's not going to beat him from where he is. I would understand if Hallman was going to needed to make up championship points, but he basically can't do it from here. If he crashes, it's definitely over.
It is, yeah, but his mindset since losing those points in Riga is just to push as hard as he can. And I think that's what's kept him motivated. That's what's kept him focused, is just to keep on pushing, and he is delivering an impeccable performance. He's right on the limit there, isn't he? This could go horribly wrong, but to be fair to him, he is well on top of this car, and I'm sure he's driving within his limits.
Ollikainen with his target in his sights just up in front of him. You can see down into that hairpin, winds the lock-on, winds it off on the exit. Hallman, we're really enjoying watching the sideways fully committed style. Tuominen will be watching that as well, won't he? He knows where the target is just in front of him. He's just got to keep it tidy and make sure he holds on to P2 to win this title by 1 point, and Tuominen's trying hard as well.
He is an incredibly mature performance from both of them, not only this weekend but across the whole championship battle, and they are both doing everything they can do personally to try and get this done.
Tuominen no closer on this lap. In the background, Ollikainen goes joker. Right, now we're talking. Now we're getting into pretty crucial territory for the front runners. Ollikainen has gone into the joker lap, and in fact Tuominen of course will have to go on this last lap from Hallman. So the only thing that matters, as we see Clementine lost in the joker, the only thing that matters is whether or not Ollikainen can beat Tuominen to the merge. Hallman out front is not going to be caught unless he makes a terrible mistake.
He's dropped back, unseen by us. He looks to have dropped back a bit there, Rasmus Tuominen, and it's going to be super close. Where is Jonna Ollikainen?
It's a long joker lap here, isn't it? 6 seconds, so it's whether or not he's going to come under any threat. Do you think he will?
He's not even in the shot, is he? But it's so difficult to tell on this circuit. Hallman has to joker now. You'll see him peel off to the right, and Tuominen is well tucked in there, isn't he? Ollikainen is entering the last long corner here.
Hallman then comes through the joker lap for the final time. This young man has pushed so hard in the second half of the season. He's done a brilliant job. He's done everything right here at Tierp. He wins the last round of RX Academy 2019, but it won't be enough to stop Rasmus Tuominen, who crosses the line and takes the championship. He wins the RX Academy 2019 by 1 point. Ollikainen coming across the line in third place. Disappointment for Hallman. But it was a brilliant performance. He shouldn't be at all disappointed with the fight he's put up, but ultimately it was not enough. It's Tuominen who takes the title. Confirmation of the final result of the year. Tommi Hallman wins with 421.8. Rasmus Tuominen was a few seconds behind, but he was close enough to ensure he got those all-important championship points. It was Ollikainen who held on for third, then RK, Heikkinen and Clementine lost.
I can't even get words. I had so bad yesterday, so had to recover for it, and won it by 1 point now. I don't know what to say. Great year, started a bit bad at earliest, but since earliest it's been just a brilliant season, and can't be more thankful to my parents and all the sponsors.
Well, a super emotional Rasmus Tuominen crowned champion of 2019. He wins the RX Academy by 1 point from Tommi Hallman. It's Jonna Ollikainen who ends up in P3. Muru is fourth, then Nurmi, Heikkinen, Clementine lost, Kaliamaki, Pepe RK, Robert Svitols and Flora Anderson.
For me, couldn't do more. It was pretty much perfect race, but because of the championship situation, doesn't help. I couldn't do more, and also I got a good gap to Rasmus, but I saw in the mirror that he's second, so I know that it's not gonna be enough for the points, but then I know that what else to do, so just pushing as hard as I can through the whole race. Really disappointed, especially after what happened in Latvia. it's difficult to accept, but that's how it is.
And I was pushing the maximum and tried to challenge Tommi and Rasmus, but this time they were just too fast and I was third in final. Of course it feels good to end the season with 2 podiums, but I'm also a little bit disappointed because I really tried to beat them, so can't be too satisfied with third place. In the start of the season and in the middle of the season I couldn't believe this would be possible, but now it happened, so I'm happy.
This had to be just a learning year, but it turned out to be a championship contender season, and now I'm the champion.
That's it for another fantastic season of RX Academy. For the 3rd year in a row, it's come down to the last round, and in fact this time down to the very last race, where this man, Rasmus Tuominen, was crowned champion by just 1 point. Next year, for his prize, he steps up to RX2, 5 rounds in Europe. It'll be fascinating to see what this young man can do on the next stage, and we look forward to welcoming a new crop of young drivers to RX Academy 2020.